We all know Einstein's famous equation, E equals mc squared. But how many people understand this equation? I have found that not many people do. And I was one of those people until I took the time to look it up. When I looked it up, I thought, oh yeah, that makes so much sense. So the reason I'm bringing up this equation is because if you want to understand yourself and you want to understand the reality you're in and how it works, the best place to start is with this equation. So what it means is E stands for energy, M stands for mass, C stands for the speed of light. So what Einstein is saying is energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So what it's basically saying is that energy and mass, or matter, as in solid objects, energy and mass is the same thing in different forms. It is interchangeable. So energy is solid objects, matter. Solid objects, matter, is energy. So that means that you are an energetic being. Everything in our reality is made up of energy, and that includes you. And so Nikola Tesla had this famous quote where he said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So as an energetic being that is having a human experience, you are always vibrating on frequencies. Your body is a molecular structure that vibrates at a very high speed. And so whatever vibration you're putting off is what you will attract back into your reality. So that is the universal laws, law of vibration, which is the primary law, and then law of attraction, which is the secondary law. Whatever vibration you're putting off is what you will attract into your reality. Now, I'm going to show you the scale of consciousness. So this is the scale of consciousness, and we vibrate on, there are basically an infinite number of frequencies we can be vibrating on. And a lot of us are vibrating on these lower frequencies where you can see down the bottom of the scale of consciousness, you have things like anger, fear, shame, guilt. A lot of us are vibrating in these low levels of consciousness. When you are born, when you come in on this earth realm as a baby, you come in at the love frequency, which vibrates at 500. Your natural state of being is high vibrational. But the problem is most of us are vibrating on these lower frequencies. Now, the way our reality works and the laws of the universe, whatever frequency you are tuned into is the reflection you will get back in your reality. The universe doesn't care about what you want. The universe gives you a reflection back of what you are. Whatever frequency you are tuned into is the reflection you will get back. So for example, let's say you're vibrating with fear. The reason I'm bringing up fear is because there is a lot going on in our world right now. There is a lot of fear mongering. And if you're vibrating on the fear frequency, the reflection you get back in your reality is more things to be afraid of, to be in fear of. So this is why we want to become aware of our own frequency, where we are vibrating at, and we want to learn to raise our vibration back up the scale of consciousness so we are vibrating in higher frequencies, because again, your natural state of being is high vibrational. Your natural state of being is love, which vibrates at 500, and fear vibrates at 100. Now, the globalists that run this world, they know all of this. And this is why they use fear as their tool. They push fear into the world. This is why there's so much fear-mongering going on. So they're using fear to manipulate our frequencies, to keep us low vibrational, to keep us tuned into fear, because they don't want us to be high vibrational. They don't want us to be happy and healthy. So they manipulate us, they manipulate our energy to be vibrating in these lower frequencies. Fear is their tool, okay? And so another thing about fear is fear, when you're being told to be afraid of something, right? Fear triggers survival mode. Now, I don't know if you know, but most of us spend 70% of our time in survival mode, which isn't healthy. We're not supposed to be spending our dominant amount of time in survival mode. This is the sympathetic nervous system. We should be in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is known as creation, but we're spending most of our dominant amount of time in survival. Again, they're using fear as a tool to trigger us to be in survival. For example, I don't know what words we can say on this app, so I might just bleep them out, but, right? That's triggered people to be in survival. For example, the food prices go up. You see the food prices go up and you're like, oh my God, look at the price of food. How are we going to afford food? Boom, you're in survival mode. The gas prices go up. Oh my God, how am I going to afford gas to get to my job? Boom, you're in survival mode. When you are in survival mode, you are living in stress. When you are stressed, it shuts down the immune system, and that is when illness and disease starts to show up. So again, the globalists are using fear as their tool to control us, to keep us in low vibrational states. We are naturally high vibrational beings, but most of us are operating in these lower frequencies. And so this is why we want to, again, become mindful of our own energy, become mindful of where we are vibrating at, and do the work on ourselves so we can move ourselves up the scale of consciousness, so we can vibrate on these higher frequencies like love, joy, peace, gratitude. When we're operating in these higher frequencies, that is when magic and miracles start coming into your life. Because again, it's the laws of the universe. Whatever frequency you are tuned into is a reflection you're going to get back in your reality. If you keep yourself in these high vibrational frequencies, the reflection you will get back will be magic and miracles and awesome things just flowing into your life. Regardless of what's going on in the world, with all the, it's just chaotic, right? It's just, there's so much going on and there's so much fear being pushed. This is why the point I'm making is to ignore the fear. Don't buy into that fear. And work on your own frequency and vibration and get yourself in these higher states. Again, your natural state of being is high vibrational. So we have these universal laws. Again, law of vibration is the primary law. Whatever you're vibrating at is what you're going to attract. That is the secondary law, law of attraction. So energy can't be created or destroyed either, right? You're an energetic being. You will never actually die. Death is you leaving the body. You're leaving the body to go somewhere else. So there's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. So that means energy can't be created or destroyed. It simply transmutes or transforms into something else. So you will be around forever. And you'll have many different lives. You'll have past lives. Even though that's not actually true, because everything's happening simultaneously anyways. There's no such thing as past and future. Everything is happening now. But you have these other lives, you know? You're an energetic being that will forever live on. Now, part of having the human experience, because we're an energetic being, we have this human body, we're in this vessel. The human body isn't who we truly are. We are the energetic being. Part of having the human experience is having an ego. And we also have belief systems. And our belief systems were programmed from a very young age, you know, like when we were kids, right? So the way reality works is whatever you believe to be true is what you will experience in your reality. This is another reason why I say don't buy into the fear, because if you're buying into the fear, you're going to create these beliefs around it. Beliefs are the same thing as stories you tell yourself. And so basically, whatever you believe to be true is what you experience in your reality, and you have the power within you to change your beliefs. If you have self-limiting beliefs that do not serve you, the key is to become aware of it and then learn to let it go and wire in new and better beliefs that will serve you. So I highly recommend doing belief work. Again, the key is to become aware of what beliefs and stories you have, because they're running in the autopilot mind, meaning we're unaware of it. If we are unaware of it, it will continue to rule our life until we become aware of it. Now, there's this book I read from Neville Goddard called Feeling is the Secret. I highly recommend reading this book. It's a short book. It's about 50 pages. It's not even more than 50 pages, and it's 4 chapters, but it has extremely useful information, and it talks about consciousness. Because at the end of the day, you are just a conscious being. You're simply consciousness, you're simply awareness. So this book explains the law of consciousness and also how our mind is creating our reality. So it talks about how the conscious mind has the idea or the thought. Your conscious mind is able to accept or reject the idea or thought. The subconscious mind only accepts, okay? And so if you have this idea or thought, and then once you've attached an emotion to that idea or thought, the idea or thought will now be impressed onto this, impressed onto the subconscious mind. Now, by the law of consciousness, whatever is impressed onto the subconscious mind has to be brought into our reality. So that's pretty cool, because we can be impressing things onto our subconscious mind that we want to experience in our reality. But the other thing is, I want to use an example for this that I hope will kind of open people's eyes up a bit. And again, I don't want to say the word on here because I don't know what we can say on these platforms, but I'm going to use the example, right? So our governments gave us the idea or thought, and most people's conscious minds accepted the idea or thought. So that was, there's a scary virus out there that's going to make people sick and it's going to kill a lot of people, right? That was the idea or thought that was given to us. Most people's conscious minds accepted it. And then once you've attached an emotion to that thought or idea, so most people attach the emotion of fear to that thought or idea. You know, they've been told there's a scary virus that's going to make people get sick, so people are now in fear. Once they've added the emotion of fear to it, it is now impressed into the person's subconscious mind by the laws of the universe. Once it's impressed into the subconscious mind, it has to come into the physical reality. Now, they have planted that thought or idea on a mass scale. They've planted it into millions of people's minds, right? This is done on a collective scale. So most people accepted the idea, and most people would have attached an emotion like fear to it. And then once it's impressed onto, like, let's say, I don't know the number, let's say millions of people's subconscious mind, this is how it gets brought into the reality on a mass scale. The people running the world know all this. They know how consciousness works. They're basically planting things in our minds so we create it for them in our reality. Now, the reason I wanted to bring this up as well is because my conscious mind rejected the idea. They told us this about the scary virus, and I figured out pretty quick that we were being lied to, and I rejected the idea. Even though I knew people were out there getting sick, I still rejected the idea, which meant I didn't add an emotion to it, which therefore meant it didn't get impressed onto my subconscious mind. And I believe that is why I never got, I've never had. And it's funny because my brother picked me up one day. We were going out to my parents, and I I get into the car, like sitting next to him, and he said to me, I think I'm going to be infected with, because he just found out his flatmate tested positive for. And I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to get, it's going to happen now. I still didn't get it. My bro was sick for like 2 weeks with it, and I didn't get it. And I believe that is why. It's because your inner world is what creates the outer world, and I didn't allow it to enter my inner world because my conscious mind rejected the idea. So the way I was in my mindset and in my inner world, it was exactly the same pre-days. Nothing had changed in my inner world. So honestly, that is why I believe I've never had. It's because my conscious mind rejected it. And again, they did this on a mass scale. They planted it into millions of people's minds, and it got impressed into millions of people's subconscious minds. So of course we're going to see it in our reality. Now I wanted to share another book that I've read with you, and that is Dolores Cannon's The 3 Waves of Volunteers and the New Earth. This is really explaining what's going on the planet right now. I highly recommend giving this a read. If you don't know who Dolores Cannon is, I'll give you a quick explanation. So she was a hypnotherapist who traveled all over the world. She hypnotized thousands of people. And there's like 50 years worth of like hypnotherapy research. And all this information came through. And people were talking about, like these souls were talking about hearing a call for volunteers to go to Earth to assist with the shift in consciousness. These souls were sent in since World War II, because World War II was pretty bad. We had atomic bombs, and we could have really destroyed this whole planet and potentially destroyed the universe. It was actually a really big thing. So this is why souls had to be sent in here to basically assist in a shift in consciousness. And I highly recommend reading this book because it has her hypnotherapy sessions in it, her transcripts in it, and it's really interesting to see what people say when they're put under. Now, what's come through these hypnotherapy sessions is, talking about the Great Awakening, which is the shift in consciousness. Humanity has been operating in 3D consciousness, which is a really low level of consciousness. This is why the world we're living in is so negative, and there's like a lot of fear and violence and hate and anger. It's because we're operating in a low level of consciousness. We're operating from the ego. So the shift in consciousness means we're shifting to 5D, which is where we're going to operate from the soul. We're going to be living in a more positive world where there's unconditional love and compassion for each other and unity. And this shift, she said, started in 2003, so we're like 20 years into it, right? And the globalists know. They know about this shift. And that is why the world seems crazy. This is why there's so much chaos. The chaos is part of the shift. It's part of the process. So, again, the point I want to make is don't buy into the fear, because the globalists are using the fear to try to fight against the shift in consciousness. Part of the shift in consciousness is raising our vibration up that scale of consciousness. And they're wanting to keep us in these low frequencies like fear. So that's, again, why they're pushing the fear. Because with the shift in consciousness, what's going to happen is individually we raise our vibration. And as we individually raise our vibration, the collective consciousness will also raise. As the collective consciousness raises, the earth will start healing. And what Dolores Cannon explained in this book is that the earth itself is going to shift into a completely different dimension. And the globalists know that they're going to lose control once this happens. They don't want to lose control. So realize the chaos in the world's all part of this process. Don't buy into the fear. Like, for example, at the moment, I'm in New Zealand and we've been getting hit with floods and cyclones. And I'm going to say it, it's man-made. I know it's man-made. They're manipulating it, and it's wiping out people, it's wiping out, crops. And I sort of thought to myself a couple of days ago, I was thinking, man, what are we actually going to do about this? Like, I was like talking to the spirit, the universe. I was saying, what do we actually do though? Like when our, we're losing our crops and like food prices going up. I sort of thought, again, it's that survival mode sort of kicking in a wee bit. And I sort of said to the universe, like, what do we actually do though? Like, I was sort of asking for guidance, and I got a response. The response came because the universe communicates to us. Whether you realize it or not, it just depends on whether or not you're tuned into it and you know how to listen, which is something I've learned because it's something I've been practicing. The universe communicates in heaps of different ways, and I ended up on TikTok just scrolling, and this reading came up, like a tarot card reading, and the reading was, I just know it was the universe's response to my question, and the universe basically said to trust the process. Because like Dolores Cannon says, the chaos is part of the process. And so the message from the universe was basically saying to trust the process and to trust the universe. And trust that everything's going to work out and be all right. So I was like, okay, cool. So again, the bottom line is don't buy into the fear. And instead of wasting your energy worrying about what's going on in the world and going on around you, my advice is to start going within. Start meditating every day. Close your eyes. When you close your eyes, you disconnect from the outer world. You start putting the attention on your inner world. When you start putting the attention in your inner world, that is when you start connecting to God, connecting to spirit, whatever you want to call it, universe. You start connecting to this higher power. When you start connecting to the higher power, that is when you can have messages coming through, like your higher self will start connecting with you, and you'll have like this positive clarity and wisdom coming in that will guide you. So again, ignore what's going on in the outer reality. Don't buy into that fear. Don't allow yourself to be vibrating on low frequencies, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate us. Start going within and connecting with this higher power. And it's really funny because I was someone that was anti-God most of my life. I rejected the idea, and that's because, long story short, I had a friend killed by a horse when I was 6, and yeah, I just didn't buy into the idea of this God being real. Anyway, after a spiritual awakening, I realized God was real, and it was because I connected to a higher power through meditation, and I realized God is real, but it's not a man in the sky like they're trying to tell us. God resides within you. That's why I say go within and connect. Connect so you can get this guidance as well. The guidance will help you to feel at ease and not buy into this fear, and it will help you stay out of survival mode. And the other thing is to start working with your own vibration. Raise your vibration up that scale of consciousness. This is the way, because we are in a spiritual war, whether you realize it or not, this is a spiritual war, because the elites know that this shift in consciousness is happening because we've got new high vibrational energy coming through on the planet as people are raising their vibration. And so they're trying to attack us energetically, again, using fear. It manipulates our energy. So we fight back with energy. We fight back by raising ourselves up that scale of consciousness and operate in these higher frequencies. That is what will help humanity. That is what will help the earth. And so if you want to know how to raise your vibration permanently, I will tag a video or link a video here for you to watch at the end of this video so you can learn how to do that for yourself. I hope this video was helpful for you and understanding with what we're going through on the planet right now, because it is crazy times, and I think it's going to get a bit more crazier, which is why I wanted to put this message out there, because I think it's important that we just don't buy into this fear, even though there's a lot going on. I highly recommend looking into Dolores Cannon's work, read her book. If you're not a reader, there's heaps of videos online of her, talking about all these amazing discoveries she made through her hypnotherapy work. So I hope this video was valuable to you. If it was, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or write a comment. If you like this sort of content, subscribe and hit that bell notification. And if you want to learn how to raise your vibration so you can help the earth heal and you can help the collective consciousness, then watch this video that I link at the end of this one. Have an awesome day, guys. Peace.